Gil Martin here, and welcome to today's episode of the Daily Packers Post, where we bring you in-depth daily coverage of your Green Bay Packers. We have new episodes dropping every day, Monday through Friday, so hit the like button and subscribe so you never miss an episode. Today, we're going to discuss some of the Packers' undrafted free agent signings, specifically the two most intriguing players out of the 10 that they added. And we know historically that the Packers have had success adding undrafted free agents, even though the Packers are winning consistently over the last 30 plus years, even though they're drafting late in each round of the draft most of the time. They had a streak of more than 10 years where at least one UDFA, undrafted free agent, made the roster. And, Brian Gutekunst, say what you want about how he's handled free agency or the draft. He does find some good diamonds in the rough when it comes to undrafted free agents. So the two that we're going to focus on are both on the defensive side of the ball. And interestingly enough, or maybe it shouldn't be a surprise, but they play positions that were positions of need, but weren't addressed early in this year's draft. First, defensive tackle, Nazir Stackhouse. He's a nose tackle specifically, and he went to the University of Georgia. Prior to the draft, most scouting services ranked him as either a 5th or 6th round pick, but he did not end up getting drafted. He's 6'3", 327 pounds, and probably the big reason that Stackhouse wasn't drafted is that he more or less doesn't give you much in the way of pass rush. His expertise, his skill is to clog up the middle of the line of scrimmage, occupy one or more blockers, and help stop the run, whether it's him making a tackle or more frequently him occupying blockers and freeing up linebackers or other defensive linemen or safeties to come up, not be blocked because he's occupying the blockers and they can make the tackle. So that's his game. And look, the Packers, they needed to replace TJ Slaton, who filled that role over the last few years and now signed, a free agent deal in Cincinnati. So, the question is whether Stackhouse can come in and do the job. Now, the Packers did draft Warren Brinson, also with the Georgia Bulldogs, also a defensive tackle in the 6th round. So Gutekunst got both of the starting defensive tackles from the University of Georgia, one in the 6th round of the draft, one as an undrafted free agent. And Green Bay really has been stockpiling Georgia players, especially on defense, over the last few seasons. And last year, 2 sacks, 4 tackles for loss at Georgia. Obviously, playing for the Bulldogs, he does have some big game experience, and hopefully he can step in and replace TJ Slaton, or at least compete for that job. And I think he's got a fairly good shot of making the final roster if he has a good showing in training camp and in the preseason. The second player we're highlighting is defensive back Johnathan Baldwin. They did something rare with Baldwin. The Packers signed him to a contract that guarantees him $115,000 this year. That's a $15,000 signing bonus and a guaranteed salary of at least $100,000. Now, that's not big money in NFL terms, but it's a lot more than most undrafted free agents get. And it shows that there was A, competition for Baldwin between the Packers and some other teams, and B, how serious the Packers are about signing the former UNLV star. In college, he did something that the Packers absolutely love. Both Jeff Hafley, the defensive coordinator, and Brian Gutekunst, the GM, love players who are versatile in the secondary. And at UNLV, Baldwin, he played cornerback, free safety, and in the slot. So boundary corner, slot corner, and free safety. Hafley loves to disguise his coverages and keep offenses, quarterbacks, offensive coaches guessing, even if it is for a split second off the snap, trying to figure out who's lining up where, who's covering who's doing what role, and Baldwin would certainly fit in. Now, the Packers have officially listed him as a cornerback on their roster, although many scouts think he's better suited for safety. And he's kind of the opposite in some respects of what the Packers look for in the draft. His relative athletic score, RAS, just a 5.16. That is low for players that the Packers pick. But boy, was he productive in college. You know, so often we see the Packers draft guys with elite athletic traits who didn't produce big numbers in college. Baldwin is kind of the opposite. He had 3 interceptions last year, 3.5 sacks. He has the ability to rush the quarterback, and 9.5 tackles for loss. Also broke up 13 passes. Now, obviously, there is a big jump from UNLV to the NFL. No offense to UNLV. They're just not an elite college football NFL factory. And look, the Packers did not pick a cornerback in this year's draft until the 7th round. And they didn't draft a safety at all, although the safety room is rather deep. So when you add the fact that there was no cornerback taken and cornerback was considered a need, and the fact that Baldwin got the bonus that he got, I would say he probably has a pretty good chance of making this roster when you compare him to most of the other players out there who were signed as undrafted free agents. We'll see how this all plays out, how they look. Packers are having a rookie camp now, so it's exciting to see some of these players on the field for the very first time. There's also some players on tryout contracts, and we'll keep covering it for you this week here at the Daily Packers Post. Don't forget to check out our website at thepackerspost.com for articles on your Packers every day, Monday through Saturday. Hit the like button and subscribe so you never miss one of our videos. I'm Gil Martin. Thanks so much for watching today's episode of the Daily Packers Post. And of course, go Pack Go.